Good morning. It is Friday, the 27th of January, and we continue with the book of Isaiah. Today we looked at Isaiah chapter 50, the whole chapter, but it continues looking at the sinfulness of the world and God's pending judgment and coming into the world. It includes the third of the servant songs. I think it's verses 4 to 9 in that vicinity of chapter 50. But again, speaking about God's plan, a plan for the immediate future of the Jewish people, but also looking well into the future and speaking about what is to come. And of course, that focuses on the coming servant, hence the existence of this third of the servant songs. I think there's a total of about 4, if my memory is correct, in Isaiah. And also then, especially because it's looking at Jesus, it by implication is looking at all that Jesus stands for and his coming again and the destruction of evil that will take place. But I want to go to the Psalm, because Psalm 37, we looked only at the first few verses of the Psalm for today, but later this evening and into tomorrow morning, we will look at the rest of those Psalms in morning prayer and evening prayer today. But I would encourage you, it's not awfully long, read the whole of Psalm 37, just as a little exercise today, because it speaks wonderfully and echoes similarly what God is saying through the prophet Isaiah. And principally, Psalm 37 is saying, don't envy the wicked. It starts in the NIV, do not vie with the wicked. And I would interpret that or reinterpret that as, do not envy the wicked. Don't try and compete with them. Don't try and keep up with them. So do not vie with the wicked, because, and again now I continue to paraphrase, they're here today and they're gone tomorrow, gone for good. And if we think back to what history we can remember, and I have to confess, sometimes my historical memory of things in the world is somewhat limited, but at least enough to know that some of those despots and bad people that lived and operated many years ago, there are certainly some who are operating now, but for peace and sanctity, I won't mention them by name, former presidents of this country and other countries, terrorist figures. But any of the despots that we can remember, they did an awful lot of damage when they were alive. And sometimes we still have a fairly clear memory of what they are doing. And sometimes we may even still be suffering a little as a result of what it is that they did. Think about the Second World War and Hitler, etc. And yet they are gone. And if we are honest, we might look with a certain degree of horror and shudder a little bit at some of the atrocities that took place by those people, but they are gone. And history remembers them in a way that is not in any way flattering. We think about some people, and behind our cupped hands we mock them and laugh at them. And so God says that is the due result, that is the end of those who are evil, those who disobey the commandments of God, and those who mock God. They might be here tomorrow, but they are gone. Sorry, might be here today, but they are gone tomorrow. And of course, Jesus picks up on a similar theme when he talks about, the fig tree, and it's gone. It may look luxuriant and all flowering, and you might even feel that you can take some comfort in its shade, but tomorrow it's gone. But God is never gone, and the church is never gone. The church is growing and consolidating itself, and whilst numbers in church may be dropping in certain parts of the world, the church is as strong as it always has been, and the church is the body of Christ, and we are called to live holy lives. Let us not vie with the wicked. And so, of course, this speaks not just about the church overall and your clergy person who leads you, but it speaks about you as well. And of course, me. It speaks about all of us. How do we live our lives? Are we jealous of the evils and jealous of the wealth? Do we try and vie with them and seek what it is that they have? We think if they're getting away with it, then maybe God is snoozing somewhere or on vacation, and he's not going to see. Well, he does see everything. He knows what is happening, and the consequences will come our way, and probably sooner rather than later. So do not vie with the wicked. Do not stoop to do evil. And watch the language that we use. Watch what we look at with our eyes. Be careful as to whose company we keep, because all of this can influence us and lead us astray. So do not vie with the wicked. Read Psalm 37. Interesting, easy, a little bit long, but not too bad. And let it be our guiding light, as it were, for the weekend. Folks, have a wonderful day. We'll chat again next week. God bless.